So I just saw the new Netflix horror movie, The Perfection, and it is the most disappointing movie I've seen all year. I had pretty high expectations for this movie based off the trailers, which fairly were phenomenal, and I do really like the lead actress Alison Williams. She did a fantastic job in Get Out, but unfortunately I did not have the foresight to check out anything else about this movie, really. For some reason I decided to not watch any of the director's other films or even see who he was. For some reason I didn't check to see if the writers had made anything good. Had I actually checked out the writers, I would have been much more apprehensive. One of the writers is the director, and the other two have only ever worked in TV. This film may not be as great as I was expecting, but there were still some great aspects. All of the performances were absolutely spectacular. The cinematography was great and often felt very purposeful. I really liked that they chose to use a chapter format for the film. The production, set, and costume design was all really well done. The music was absolutely phenomenal, and quite honestly, throughout the start of the movie, I was genuinely unnerved. The first chapter and the start of the second chapter honestly gave me Suspiria 2018 vibes, and if I was basing my opinion of this film only off the first chapter, this would be a 10 out of 10 rating. Unfortunately, this movie features 3 chapters, and only one of them is consistently good. Unfortunately for this movie, it loses your interest in the second chapter, and the story completely nosedives in the third. This is a movie that features characters making terrible decisions for the sake of furthering the plot. The characters also have a strange level of omnipotence in this movie as well. Without spoiling anything, there are multiple scenes where characters are revealed to have had ideas the entire time and they decided to carry out these ideas, but in doing so they predicted the entire movie, I guess. This movie is constantly trying to pull the carpet from beneath your feet, but it just feels pretentious. Every single twist in this movie feels incredibly forced. The only twist in the movie that wasn't really garbage was the very first twist, and even then some of the other twists ruined its effectiveness. There are some twists in this movie that are unbearably predictable, and there are some twists in this movie that are so unbelievably stupid that it just winds up coming out of nowhere. The movie's editing was also pretty bad. Despite this movie being an 18, it feels like at points it has no balls whatsoever and takes the easy way out of showing things that could be genuinely shocking and horrifying. Speaking of things that could be shocking and horrifying, there are images towards the start of the movie that actually achieve some sort of effect by using gore, but then later on in the movie they just start doing things and it feels like it's for shock value. The film is also incredibly tonally inconsistent at times. The ending is incredibly goofy and it feels so out of place and unsatisfying. There's also just a fair amount of this movie that makes zero sense whatsoever, and that's even ignoring the omnipotence of the characters. Overall, this movie is just kind of annoying to sit through. The first chapter of the film is kind of perfect, but from there, the quality of the film just drops. I've definitely seen worse movies on Netflix, but this was still pretty bad and I wouldn't really recommend it. I'm giving The Perfection a 3 or 4 out of 10. Right now I'm giving it a 3, I might move up to a 4, I haven't really decided yet. Anyways, that's the end of this video. Like, share, subscribe, I'm bad at outros, and I'll see you in whatever I do next.